Greetings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today. What I wanted to discuss in today's podcast is not political per se, but it is religious. As a lot of you may know, I am an omnist. And if you don't know, hi, I'm an omnist. And if you want to know more about omnism, and if you would like to know more about my collective called the Omniscient Omnists, just let me know in the comment section and I will give you more details. You can also contact me through the information provided in my link tree, as well as in any description boxes from any of the social media platforms that I am on. But as I was saying, I am an omnist, and as an omnist, I believe in the acknowledgement of all higher powers that exist. You might call them God, or you might call it the universe, or you can call it whatever you feel led to call it. But I believe that it is all a part of the universe and that it's all just an extension of the universe and who we are. Anyway, in the omnists, we are all about equality, and we don't care what your sexual orientation is. We don't care what your gender is. We don't care what your gender identity is. We just care about you as a beautiful being and that you are trying to live your best life. We also believe that everyone should be given the chance to start out as an initiate and go all the way up to a supremely beautiful being if they choose to. A supremely beautiful being is the top clergy in our organization. Supremely beautiful beings are the leaders of the collectives. If you want to lead a small group, or if you want to lead one of the communions, if you want to be one of our mental health gurus or our wellness gurus, if you want to lead any of our classes and you have the certification that proves that you are trained in Reiki, sound healing, yoga, whatever you want to teach, then we will gladly allow you to do that. And we will let you move up from your initiate status and into clergy. Clergy has initiate clergy, and then it goes all the way up to the supremely beautiful being. I will provide a diagram that shows the levels of the clergy for anyone who would like to see it. We want you to know that all are welcomed in our collective and all have the right to move from an initiate all the way up to cleric and all the way up to supremely beautiful being. Everything's wide open for you in our collective. The reason why I am telling you this and making this podcast is because I need everybody to understand that being mean and uninclusive is a choice, but someone's sexuality is not a choice. I am telling you this because I had a very disheartening and disappointing meeting with a Christian leader that I hope would have gone differently. I joined their fellowship hoping that because they were younger, that they would be more open-minded, but they are not. They basically said in our meeting that there's nothing wrong with homosexuals joining their church and just being lay members, but that they will never allow them to become a leader of any kind. That means you're not going to be able to lead small group. You're not going to be able to lead the usher ministry. You're not going to be able to lead anything ever. You just get to come in every Sunday and do whatever. I'm like, why does it matter who somebody falls in love with and ultimately marries? And why is that a problem for them? Because I had a problem with them saying that because I identify as homosexual. I am a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. I am an asexual, pansexual, demisexual, and we can go into details about what that means later if you have interesting questions about that. You can also ask Google what a demisexual person is, or an asexual person, or a pansexual person is, and they'll help you to better understand that. After you've looked up what those words mean, if you still have questions and you want to talk to a person one-on-one with that, I am more than happy to chat with you. But either way, demisexuals, asexuals, and pansexuals are lumped together in the alphabet gang, as one of my former best friends used to call us. That particular leader said that I could not be in leadership in their fellowship because I identify as homosexual. When I asked what that had to do with anything, they said that my life choices don't align with biblical scripture. First of all, I would like to say that I did not make a choice to be who I am, or to be attracted to a person's soul, or to be only sexually attracted to someone that I know very well and align with their souls. I didn't ask to be considered homosexual. That's a label that society put on me. And it really got on my nerves that they were trying to hold that against me. A pansexual person, who I also am attracted to a person's soul. I don't care what their genitalia is. If we have a connection and we love each other and we eventually become intimate, that's fine too. If their so-called God didn't make any mistakes, then I didn't get a chance to choose this way. He made me that way on purpose, if you believe in divine predestination. And to any clergy out there who thinks homosexuality is a choice, then I admonish you to go out there and try to be homosexual. And then if you really can't do it, it means that it isn't a choice. But if you decide to do it and it feels great and you love it, guess what? You're no longer in the closet. Or you could just be a homosexual who's masquerading as a hetero and still in the closet. That's fine. That's another story for another day. But the fact that they want to hold simple things like that against you and not allow you to be who you are and try to make you into something else is kind of sad. There's a scripture that says, if any man come after me, let him deny himself, pick up his cross and follow me. That's what they like to use on homosexuals. Deny yourself. That's just you wanting to be weird. That's you making a choice to be counterculture. That's what they say, and that's not true. And for people who think that way, you're being mean. That's the same. That's no different than me deciding that because your skin doesn't look like mine, you shouldn't be allowed to have rights. That's no different than me saying because your hair doesn't look like mine, you shouldn't be able to have rights. That's no different than me saying because you don't have the same job as me, you shouldn't be allowed to have the things I have. That's discrimination and just wrong. But I'm going off script like I always do, so let's rein that tangent back in and get back to the script. I also, during that conversation with a Christian leader, was told that because I practice witchcraft, which is completely anti-Christ in their opinion, that I would never be allowed to lead anything as well. Now, before we go any further, I do identify as a witch. I am an energy manipulator, and I happen to be able to manipulate emotional energy as well as weather energy, and I can also manipulate electrical impulses to help people feel better when they're not feeling well at all. That's what Reiki is. We're passing our kinetic energies through our meridian systems into each other to help boost where we need it to be boosted and to help restrict where it needs to be restricted. Because as we all know, some of your chakras can be wide open, and a chakra that's too wide open is not a good thing, just like a closed chakra isn't a good thing. So an energy manipulator manipulates your meridian system to help balance your chakras so that they're open just wide enough so that you can live your best life and feel your best. Some people call themselves energy manipulators because the word witch is still a negative term for them. But the word witch is not a negative term for me. It's just a word that describes what I am, a practitioner of what Christians would consider to be witchcraft. If you want to learn more about the word witch and what it can mean for you and to you as an energy manipulator, I recommend that you go to wherever you listen to your podcasts and look up the Sisters Enchanted. Their first or second season, the Sisters Enchanted go into a really good definition of what a witch is and how you can own that word for yourself and not feel bad about it or imprisoned by it. Because what we're doing is we're taking a negative connotation and removing it from a word and not allowing negativity to be used to describe our manipulation of energy, and bringing in only the positives so that we feel great and everyone is no longer terrified by that word. So yeah, you should go and check out the Sisters Enchanted. By the way, this is not a sponsored post, so please don't report me or remove my podcast or my post, because the Sisters Enchanted don't know me. They don't give me money. They're not sponsoring me. I just enjoy what they have to say about it, and I think they're amazing. So yeah, if you've never heard of the Sisters Enchanted, please check them out. They're amazing. They've got their own podcast, newsletters, everything. They're great. Also, if you would like to support our collective, the Omniscient Omnists, there are ways for you to do so, and they've been labeled in the description box or in other locations depending on what app you're listening to us from. But thank you for that little allowance of a tangent. Let's get back to what we were talking about. If you choose to follow with our collective, we will give you the fellowship you require and desire, because we as humans are social beings and we do need to be around other humans to recharge our energies. Even some introverts still require a little bit of human interaction, but not as much as an extrovert would. But when you join us, we're not going to force you into having any type of leadership role that you don't want to have. And if you walk up to us and say, hey, I feel led to lead a class on how to manipulate your energy to help you feel better, then we'll definitely look at your curriculum that you put together, and we will make certain that you have the certification, because in Virginia you have to have certificates and training to state that you are who you say you are and what you say you are. But we'll make sure that you have all that, and then you'll be allowed to lead classes that help you to attune your energy or whatever you're trying to do. We'll also make sure that you have paperwork that states that you are a certified cleric and you are a clerical beautiful being, and that you are, for lack of a better term, clergy. And that should protect you when you go out in public and you're trying to help people. Because as long as you're attached to a religious organization and you have the title of clergy, the law enforcement shouldn't bother you when you're trying to feed the homeless and help people out. But anyway, we will definitely be able to let you do, lead your classes. And if people feel comfortable and your class is doing great and you want to lead more people and you eventually decide that you want to be a supremely beautiful being, we will gladly let you do that. We don't really care what your sexual orientation or your gender is, your gender identity is. You are you. And that's all we care about, is that you are you and living your best life. I could not believe what I was hearing when I met with that leadership. But anyway, I'm going to get back off of that tangent and go back into the script, because like I said, I'm scripted because I can go off on tangents, and 20-minute podcast can turn into a 3-hour podcast. So let's continue. I want you to know you don't have to be an energy manipulator to join in our collective. You can just be yourself and somebody who wants to meet up with other people who are like-minded and want to study everything so that they can better know the world around them and understand the universe that we are all a part of and partake in. I am going to go back to that conversation that I had with that Christian leader, because they don't believe that people like me should be allowed to marry if we want to. And I didn't get a chance to ask them why they were so hell-bent on going against people who are different than them. But in all honesty, I feel like it's a spirit of fear that leads them to wanting to go against anything that is different. In the past, and I'm talking about thousands, if not tens of thousands of years ago, fear was something that humans relied upon to keep themselves safe. And anything that was not like them or was different was something that they feared and something that wasn't safe, so they were rallying against it. But now that we have evolved a little bit beyond all that, I don't see a real reason for people to fear people who are different. Another thing I wanted to discuss here is communion, because I can't speak on Jewish community and their religion and if they have communion or not. And I can't speak on the Islamic community and their religion because, once again, I'm not a part of those communities. So I don't have any idea if they commune with the universe or not. But I was formerly a part of the Christian community, and there are over 2,000 Christian denominations. So I will speak on the denominations that I grew up in. And I know that they don't want homosexuals to participate in communion. And from what I learned in seminary, communion is one of the core things that you need to do in order to get into heaven. They also don't want homosexuals to be baptized. That's also something that's necessary in many Christian denominations in order to get into heaven. So what I'm hearing is they want people who are homosexual to go to hell. Because the Bible says about communion, do this often in remembrance of me. So they don't want them to get pretty much communion, and they don't want them to get baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So pretty much what they're doing is saying, hey, you can say you believe in Jesus if you want to, but you're not allowed to get the 2 tenets that are going to help make that 3-tenet thing you need in order to get in. So I'm sorry, I'm parked on the street doing this because I am. But anyway, they're holding them back and they're not going to be allowed to get into their version of heaven, which makes me sad for them. So that's why I say, fuck them. Come and join us. We'll let you, if you need to get baptized in order to get into heaven, we will get you baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. If you need to take communion where you eat some unleavened bread and drink some watered down wine in order to get into heaven, we will do that for you. And just like, who are these people? Because if someone's decided to say that they're a follower of the Christian God and Jesus Christ, they should be allowed to participate in all sacraments. I don't understand where they're coming from. They're telling you you can't show your appreciation to God, and you can't do communion and truly get baptized and bathed in the Spirit of God. Then why the fuck are you demanding that people come to your church? Why would you let them come to your church if you're going to keep them away from what they need in order to get into their version of the afterlife? I gotta tell you, that really grinds my gears. And I went off script again, so I'm gonna get back on script. As an omniscient omnist, you would have the right to work with whichever god or goddess, guides, guardians, powers that you see fit to work with. You have the right to do whatever rights go along with your belief system. Whatever is necessary for your continued following and worship of whatever deity or deities you select, within reason and within the law of the state, you can do. I don't care what you do as long as it's considered legal in your state. For example, we're starting out in the United States of America. We don't have an international charter yet. So in the United States of America, in my particular state, or states which happen to be Virginia and North Carolina, it is illegal for anyone under the age of 18 to smoke a cigarette. It is illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to purchase marijuana products or alcohol. So, if you decide that your religion or your deity wants to be communed with by lighting up and smoking some bud, you can't do that if you're not 21. And I don't know about North Carolina because I spend most of my time in Virginia. I know in Virginia they're still passing legislation, so please be careful. Religious exemption will probably not get you out of trouble. But if you need one of us to come and speak for you, one of your supremely beautiful beings will be there for you. But anyway, I'm saying that because some of our members do like to light up and meditate as a form of their communion with the universe. As long as our city allows that, and our state allows that, and our country allows that, light up, baby. But I can tell you right now, there's probably not going to be a time soon where you're going to be allowed to do mushrooms or LSD legally in the United States. We're pushing it with the marijuana. But they still are hell-bent against psychotropic and psychedelic drugs, okay? So if you're part of the beautiful beings, I cannot condone usage of psychedelics and psychotropics because they're not legal. You can commune with the universe with a cigarette or whatever. Incense, essential oils, something else, but it has to be legal. Now, off of that tangent, with that being said, the process of getting licensed to do stuff like that is hard because Virginia especially is making it difficult for me to be able to get permission to do that. They said I cannot be a dispensary or a distillery. I have to already have it, and whoever comes in has to already have theirs. I can't share it. So no puff passing over here. That's illegal in the state of Virginia. Everybody has to bring their own and do their own thing. But we're going to get off of that a little bit and explain that overall we have to obey the laws of the land as much as we can, even if those laws are not conducive to our personal ways of life. And with that being said, we are in the process of getting permissions and licensing to do marriage ceremonies, funerals, naming ceremonies, and dedication ceremonies, and any other ceremonies that might pop up as more people from different walks of life join our spiritual community and need their spiritual journeys to be fulfilled. So, once again, I also want to let everybody know we're looking for people from all walks of life. We are now, we are just outsiders looking in, reading. But if you grew up in the Hindu belief systems and you want to lead a class on your gods, that is great. We would definitely love that. I just want to make sure that everybody who joins us is able to live their best lives, especially if you're homosexual, because I am so tired of the Christians and other Abrahamic faiths just being really discriminative against people just because of their sexuality or gender identity. In all honesty, nobody should ever be discriminated against. Not for gender, not for sexuality, not for the color of their skin, their hair texture, their clothing, not for any reason. And I want everybody who is a part of this collective to be able to live their best lives and be their best, most neutral gray selves that they can be. I don't know if I've posted this vlog yet, but in one of my vlogs, I do speak about how none of us are completely light energy and none of us are completely dark energy. We're all a shade of gray, meaning our energy is never purely bright white, because that's a benevolent God energy level, and none of us are ever deepest, darkest pitch black, because that's also a chaos God energy, and we don't have the capacity to control that much power in our small vessels that we house. But we'll go into that if I haven't passed it in another if I haven't posted it, we'll go into that, because I will post it and you'll be able to see that. So, but anyway, what I want us to do is be our best neutral gray selves. When you are a light silver being, that's somebody who's all like, oh, I'm going to send out positive energy and I'm just going to disperse it out throughout the universe because everything is awesome. And then there is a time and place for that. Just like there's a time and place for being light, bright, and chipper and happy, there's also a part of us that is that dark gray energy, and there is a time for us to use that. Sometimes we're so gray that it's just emanating out of us in waves. Darkness is. And that's the time where you're telling somebody, back the fuck up or find the fuck out. Our goal in our lives is to seek balance and harmony. So we need to be able to be on both spectrums, but when we're not having to either be, ooh, I need to push out light energy, ooh, I need to push out dark energy, we need to be neutral energy, where we're just like, dude, everything is awesome. We are chill. We are one with the universe. The universe is one with us. We are all harmonious. And that's where we seek to be most of the time. We will sometimes have flare-ups where we're light and bright or dark as the abyss. But there is a place for being light and a place for being chaotic. We will go into all of that in that particular podcast on living in balance and in harmony. The true purpose behind this talk today is to open the lines of communication. I really don't care what God you've aligned yourself with. You can be a chaos agent or an agent of goodness and light. I just want to know what implements and tools you need to help you to live your best life. I'm happening to try to be a person who lives as a child of the light right now, because let me tell you, I've been an agent of chaos and darkness before, and it didn't really suit my constitution. But, I just need to know everything you need in order for your life to be great. If you're choosing to walk with the Judeo-Christian faiths or any other Abrahamic path, just let us know what you need and we can help you out. We have a vast library, including copies of the Tanakh, the Talmud, and the Torah. We also have the Ethiopian Bible. We have the Gnostic text. We have the books of Enoch. We have the seals and keys of Solomon. We also have a copy of the Cabal. So if that's something you need to study, feel free. We have that in our library, and we're still in the process of getting our digital library up. But if you're near us and you meet with us in person, you can use our copies when you're in our building. Just let us know when you want to come in and read them. Also, we have a library of all the myths of creation and a few other selective texts from other religions, including the Aztecs and the Mayans, the ancient Celts, the ancient Gauls. We also have books about the Norse pantheon, of course, the Greeks and the Romans. We have a whole plethora in our library of books you can read based on other religions. We are looking in, and I hope I don't say it wrong, but we're looking into getting copies of the Bhagavad Gita. I can't say it right. I'm sorry, you guys. But we're looking into getting copies of that. And we're just, we have a copy of the Book of Virtue. We have copies of the Book of Wisdom. We have all sorts of books you can study to help you out. We even have copies of the Holy Quran. And we will gladly help you look into that and pick out the tidbits of what are helpful to help you lead your best life. The one thing I don't agree with all the books of the Abrahamic faiths are their hatefulness towards things that are different. I don't agree at all that and because I don't agree with that, we will not be delving into the hateful parts. We will only look at nice things. We won't look at anything that says to kill witches or horrible things against homosexuals. We won't look into any of that because that's not what we need. There's enough negativity in the world that we just don't need to add anymore or harbor anymore within ourselves. And in all honesty, the Bible and any other religious text wasn't actually written by your gods. It was written by men who claim to have been inspired by God to write these stories. And you can see a lot of these problems that people had in their own lives creeping into the text. So I recommend you do some research and find out who exactly wrote what you're reading and see how their political and personal beliefs are dropped into their text, because the Bible is full of people's personal and political beliefs on top of the inspired text. But, we're going to that another day as well. If you're not new to paganism and you have some books of pagan lore that you would like for us to look into and to talk about, we are wide open for that. We definitely would love that. We would also love to add copies of whatever text you're telling us to get into our library so that when people want to read, they have the ability to. So if you do know of any books or texts that we need to read, please go ahead and drop them in the comment section. We do try to read the comments at least once a week because, like I said, life be lifing sometimes, and it bees like that. But anyway, I'm not going to hold you much longer, and I'm not lying to you. So I'm going to stop going off topic and just stick with the text. What I really want you to take away from this episode of this podcast is that humans aren't just a body and a shell. We are minds, bodies, and spirits. And if our minds are lacking, then our body and spirit will lack. If our body is lacking, then our spirit and our mind will lack. And if our spirit is lacking, then our mind and our body will lack. I hope that makes sense. But our goal in life is to be healthy and fully functional beings full of balance and harmony. And if we don't feel incorporated, or we feel like people are being mean in the community that we've chosen, we have to leave that community behind and find like-minded individuals who will embrace us for who we are and what we are and love us no matter what. And that's what I want our collective to be. A community that helps you to feed and foster your mind and body and spirit so that you can live your best life and be in perfect balance and harmony. That's our goal for you, and that's all we've ever wanted for anyone, is to fully embrace who you are. And I'm inviting you to leave those horrible places behind and come here with us and learn to heal yourself so that we as a community can not only just survive, but thrive. We are meeting online right now, but as soon as I finish getting all the licensure taken care of, we'll be able to license people as clergy, and we can start leading our own collectives wherever you are. It is our goal to not only just be in one state or one city in one state. It's our goal to be in multiple cities in all 50 states. Currently, we only have 50, but in all 50 states. We eventually intend to get an international charter, but right now, we don't have one. I'm also working on getting Zoom meetings together so everybody can log into our Zoom meetings and we can communicate that way. And once we have everything hammered out and figured out, we will definitely start having conventions where we can all meet up once a year in different destinations so that we can see the universe, our corner of the universe, the earth, our little speck of dust in the universe, and we can see all of it, and we can just, really be one with the universe. So, our first convention, I would love it so much if we could meet at like a natural park out west. Because I'm going out west with my dad this coming October because I want to make sure he sees everything that he wants to see, at least in this country, before he gets too old to do it. He's 77. He can still walk. He can still talk. He doesn't need a walker or a cane right now. And I just want to make sure he has the ability to enjoy the gift that we've been given by being allowed to live on this planet. And my dad hasn't for a long time, so we're going to go out west. And as I go out west and I see state parks and beautiful things on the way to California, I want so much to get information, and I'm going to see if we can have a convention at one of these state parks so people can see the Grand Canyon or wherever, and enjoy that, But anyway, I have rambled on for far too long. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today because I am running out of time, and I want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. You were born the way you are meant to be, and you are perfect just the way you are. But our perfection can only last if we continue to live our best lives and let go of rejection and horrible things that have happened to us so that they don't hold us down. Take care, stay safe. I love you, and I will talk to you next time.